Imagine, for a moment, that death is not an end, but a doorway, a threshold where the soul, untethered from the body, steps into an infinite expanse of light and shadow. But what if that light, so radiant and inviting, was not always what it seemed? What if, beyond the veil of our mortal perception, there existed forces ancient, cunning, and deeply entrenched in illusion that sought to intercept the soul's journey home? This is the hidden drama of the afterlife, a cosmic play of sovereignty and deception, where the unprepared may wander into labyrinths of false light, while the awakened navigate with the precision of stars returning to their source. The Gnostics called them Archons, the architects of distortion, the weavers of counterfeit heavens. The Tibetan Buddhists spoke of the Bardo, an intermediate realm where luminous traps await the unfocused mind. Even now, the Akashic Records whisper of souls who, in their moment of crossing, mistake a shimmering mirage for the true dawn. But this is not a tale of fear. It is an invitation to remember. The clear light, the undiluted radiance of Source, does not deceive. It does not demand. It simply is pure awareness, unconditional love, the silent song of origin calling you back. To recognize it, you must first know its opposite, the hollow glow of artificial paradises, the subtle coercion of systems that profit from your amnesia. This is why we speak of soul traps not as some distant myth, but as a metaphysical reality woven into the fabric of the afterlife. They exist not because the universe is cruel, but because free will is sacred. The choice to awaken, to discern, to refuse all false refuges, this is the soul's ultimate act of power. And it begins now, in this life, in this breath, in the quiet moments when you ask, "Who am I?" beyond the stories I've been told. If these words stir something in you, a resonance, a curiosity, a flicker of ancient knowing, then you are already preparing. The journey beyond the veil is not a mystery reserved for the dead. It is a path walked by the living, those who cultivate presence, sovereignty, and an unshakable connection to the inner compass of truth. So tell me, traveler of the infinite, does this glimpse into the unseen stir your spirit? If so, let the journey continue. Like, comment, and subscribe if you wish to delve deeper into these hidden realms. To understand the soul's journey beyond death, we must first grasp the landscape of the unseen, the hidden architecture of reality itself. Imagine standing at the edge of an endless ocean, where the waves are not water, but layers of consciousness, each with its own frequency, its own laws, its own inhabitants. Some of these layers are luminous, vibrating with the harmony of Source. Others are murkier, shaped by distortion, where beings of fragmented light, what the ancients named Archons, operate not out of malice, but out of their own starvation, their own exile from wholeness. At the core of this cosmic drama lies a fundamental duality, the clear light versus the false light. The clear light is not a thing to be seen, but a presence to be known, an emanation of pure being, where love is not an emotion, but the very fabric of existence. It asks nothing of you, because it is you, in your most unbroken state. The false light, however, is different. It flickers with the allure of comfort, the seduction of answers, the promise of a familiar embrace. It may wear the face of a loved one, a radiant deity, or even a tunnel of heavenly warmth, but its signature is always the same. It pulls rather than invites. It demands surrender rather than awakening. Why does this deception exist? Because the universe is built upon choice. Just as a dreamer must choose to wake from a lucid nightmare, the soul must choose its return to Source freely, consciously, without coercion. The Archons, in their own distorted way, are part of this cosmic curriculum. They are not all powerful jailers, but reflections of a deeper truth. that forgetting is the true trap and remembering is the only escape. The Akashic Records reveal that these soul traps are not prisons, but tests, thresholds, where the soul's discernment is measured. Do you follow the light that soothes but stagnates? Or do you pause, question, and anchor yourself in the unshakable knowing of your own divinity? The difference between bondage and liberation is not a matter of fate, but of frequency. A soul anchored in fear, guilt, or unresolved attachment will resonate with the lower astral realms, where the false light thrives. But a soul rooted in sovereignty in the unbreakable mantra of I am cannot be deceived, because it recognizes itself in the true light and nothing else. This is why the ancient mystery schools, the Gnostic sages, and the Eastern ascetics all taught the same truth. You must wake up before you die. The practices of meditation, self-inquiry, and energetic purification were never just about spiritual refinement. They were survival skills for the afterlife. A mind trained to discern truth from illusion in this world will do the same in the next. So let me ask you now, when you close your eyes and sink into the depths of your own awareness, what do you feel? Is there a light within you that cannot be mimicked? A presence that cannot be counterfeited? If so, you are already mapping the terrain of your own liberation. Mythology has always been humanity's most profound cipher for cosmic truths. The stories we tell about gods, demons, and the afterlife are not mere superstitions, they are maps, etched in metaphor, guiding the soul through realms beyond ordinary sight. And so, to truly grasp the nature of the soul trap, we must turn to these ancient allegories, where the struggle between true and false light plays out in vivid, archetypal drama. Consider the Egyptian Book of the Dead, where the deceased must navigate the duat, a labyrinth of trials, illusions, and gatekeepers. Here, the heart is weighed against the feather of Ma'at, the cosmic principle of truth. But the true test is not the scales themselves. It is the soul's ability to declare its own innocence without hesitation or doubt. To falter is to be devoured by Amit, the beast of oblivion. To stand firm in self-knowledge is to merge with Osiris, the resurrected god who transcends death. This is no mere funeral rite, it is a masterclass in discernment. The duat is the bardo. Osiris is the higher self. The feather is the vibration of pure truth. Or take the Gnostic myth of Sophia, the divine wisdom who, in her yearning to know the depths of creation, inadvertently gives birth to the demiurge, a blind, tyrannical god who believes himself to be the ultimate reality. This is the genesis of the false light, a distortion so convincing that it constructs entire realms of imitation divinity. The Archons are its enforcers, not out of evil, but out of a tragic ignorance they do not know they are shadows. And yet, Sophia, even in her descent, never loses her connection to the pleroma, the realm of untainted light. Her story is the soul's story, a fall into illusion, followed by the unwavering remembrance of home. Even in modern narratives, the pattern persists. The Matrix films are not science fiction, they are Gnosticism repackaged for the digital age. The red pill is the moment of awakening. The architect is the demiurge. And Neo's choice between saving Trinity or resetting the system mirrors the soul's choice between love and illusion. These stories resonate because they are not inventions, but revelations, echoes of an eternal struggle encoded in our collective unconscious. But perhaps the most poignant symbol is the Tibetan Bardo Thödol, the so-called Book of the Dead. Here, the soul is warned of the peaceful and wrathful deities that appear after death, radiant Buddhas and terrifying demons, all manifestations of the mind's own projections. The instruction is simple: recognize them as empty, and you are free. Flee from them in fear, and you are bound. This is the ultimate key. The false light only has power over those who mistake it for something outside themselves. The moment the soul realizes it is the dreamer, not the dreamed, the illusion shatters. These myths are not just stories, they are initiations. Every time you hear them, a part of you remembers. Every time you feel their truth resonate, you are rehearsing for the final journey. Because when the body falls away and the veils thin, you will not be navigating unknown terrain. You will be walking a path you have traveled in legend 1,000 times before. So tell me, seeker of the unseen, do these symbols stir something in you? A familiarity, like a half-remembered dream? If so, you are not just learning, you are reawakening. We have wandered the mythic realms, traced the contours of the soul's odyssey through symbolic landscapes. But what does this mean for you? Here, now, as breath fills your lungs and your eyes trace these words. The truth is this: how you live is how you will die. The afterlife is not some distant reality awaiting you beyond an imagined finish line. It is being woven, stitch by stitch, in the loom of your present awareness. Every moment of fear confronted, every flicker of love chosen over illusion, every instant you anchor in the unshakable knowing of your true nature, these are not just spiritual abstractions. They are the training grounds for your final and most profound initiation. Consider the practice of discernment. In this world, you are bombarded with false lights daily, the seductive glow of screens engineered to addict, the hollow promises of consumer spirituality, the entire cultural machinery urging you to outsource your sovereignty to gurus, algorithms, and political saviors. Each time you pause and ask, does this resonate with my deepest truth? You are rehearsing for the bardo. Every moment you refuse to let fear or external validation dictate your choices, you are strengthening the muscle that will one day distinguish the clear light from the archonic mirage. Then there is the cultivation of presence. Modern life is a near-perfect archonic distraction, a whirlwind of past regrets and future anxieties designed to keep you from the eternal now. Yet it is only in the now that the true light can be felt. Those who have brushed against death and returned often speak of time dissolving, of a vast, radiant present where all separation falls away. This is not poetic metaphor, but experiential truth. The more you root yourself in presence through meditation, breathwork, or simply the sacred art of paying attention, the more familiar that frequency becomes. And what is familiar, you will recognize. What you recognize, you cannot fear. And what of attachment? The Buddha was not speaking metaphorically when he named it the root of suffering. Souls often stumble in the afterlife not because they are wicked, but because they are homesick for lovers, for unfinished missions, for identities they mistook as their essence. This is why so many traditions practice non-attachment, not to negate love, but to purify it. When you love from wholeness rather than lack, you leave no karmic hooks for the false light to exploit. Even your relationship with technology is part of this initiation. The digital age has birthed a new kind of archonic realm, a non-physical plane of curated identities, engineered desires, and algorithmic manipulation that mirrors the afterlife's deception matrix. Your ability to unplug, to sit in silence, to reclaim your attention from the endless scroll, these are modern-day ascetic practices. Every time you choose depth over distraction, you are rewriting your soul's code. The most practical preparation? Live as if you are already free, not in some distant future when conditions are perfect, but now despite the bills, the aches, the heartbreaks. Because when the body falls away, you will not suddenly become someone else. You will meet the cumulative vibration of every choice you made in this life. The soul who spent years numbing itself with entertainment will face the same craving for distraction in the bardo. The soul who practiced daily remembrance of its divine nature will find that recognition instantaneous. This is the great secret the mystics never tired of repeating. There is no difference between spiritual practice and afterlife preparation. The same awareness that lets you taste the sacred in a sip of morning tea will guide you through the dissolution of form. The same intuition that whispers this is not truth when confronted with societal lies will steer you past the false light's allure. So I ask you, where in your life are you already practicing transcendence without realizing it? That moment you chose forgiveness over resentment that was a rehearsal. The time you walked away from a toxic situation despite the pull of attachment that was training. Even now, as you ponder these words, you are calibrating your compass. We have traveled far together through the veils of myth, the architecture of unseen realms, and the raw, practical alchemy of turning daily life into sacred preparation. Yet here, at the journey's end, we arrive at the simplest and most profound truth. You are already returning. Every moment of clarity, every surge of unconditional love, every time you felt the fleeting yet unmistakable touch of something eternal whispering through the cracks of this world, these were not mere experiences. They were rememberings. The clear light has never been separate from you. You've only been practicing how to see through the eyes of the one who never left. This is why the greatest sages, from Rumi to Eckhart, laughed at the idea of some far-off enlightenment. The cosmic joke is this: what you seek is what is seeking. The soul trap was never a cage built by external gods or demons. It's the hypnotic allure of your own unexamined thoughts, the gravitational pull of identities you forgot you chose. And the key? It's been in your hand all along, etched with a single word: awareness. Not the frantic awareness of spiritual achievement, but the gentle, unshakable kind, the kind that notices fear without becoming it, that witnesses the false light's seduction like a parent smiling at a child's imaginary game. So what now? If this exploration has stirred something in you, don't let it end here. The real work, the real play, begins in the alchemy of your daily life. Befriend your mortality, not as morbid fixation, but as liberation. Let the certainty of death strip away trivial concerns. Ask often, if this were my last year, last month, last breath, would I still be doing this? Practice Bardo moments. Several times a day, pause and ask, if I died right now, where would my consciousness be anchored? Use the answer as a compass. Create a sovereignty mantra. Craft a phrase that cuts through illusion, e.g., I am of the source, I return only to truth. Repeat it until it becomes bone deep, until no fear or false light could ever make you forget. This is your invitation not to some future salvation, but to the divinity already humming in your cells. The afterlife isn't waiting, it's unfolding. And with each choice aligned with truth, each moment of fearless presence, you're not preparing for the journey home. You're already walking it. If this resonance has touched you, speak it into the comments below. What revelation landed most deeply? Share this message with those ready to awaken. Subscribe if you crave more journeys into the veiled realms. But most importantly, live as if you remember. The cosmos is waiting to greet you not at death, but in the very next breath you take with open eyes. The adventure continues.